Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bible Difficulties and Answers podcast. I'm your host, Lance Smith, and since it's Tuesday, you know what time it is. Another Contradictions episode where we wrestle with the tough stuff. Today's question's a hot one from the Skeptic's Annotated Bible. Is it wrong to have sex outside of marriage? If you're like me, you're thinking, well, duh, of course it is. That's the Sunday school answer, right? But then these skeptics, they're sneaky, tossing curveballs like Hosea 1 verse 2, Hosea 3 verse 1, and Numbers 31, 1 to 18. Suddenly I'm going, wait, what? Gotta hand it to them. This isn't the layup I thought. So, what do we do when the skeptics swagger in claiming the Bible's a mess on this? Does God play fast and loose with the rules? Are these weird stories loopholes? Or is there more under the hood? Think of this like a detective gig. We've got the main case, some odd clues, and a few folks trying to throw us off. Grab your notepad, crack open the Word, and let's dig into this together. This one's going to be a ride. Let's kick off with the basics. What's the Bible's line on sex? Scripture's not subtle. Sex is a gift, but it's got a home. Marriage between a man and a woman. Check Matthew 5, 27 to 28, Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount from the New Living Translation, where he says this, "You have heard the commandment that says you must not commit adultery. But I say, anyone who even looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Boom. Jesus isn't just saying hands off. He's like eyes off too. It's not just the act, it's the heart. And when we say sex outside marriage, we're talking adultery, cheating on a spouse, and fornication, which covers premarital stuff too. The Bible bundles it all under sexual immorality. The Greek's word porneia, and it's a big old umbrella for anything off the marriage grid. More on that in a second. Zoom out, and the New Testament's a megaphone. 1 Corinthians 6, 18 to 20. Flee from sexual immorality. Your body's a temple, not a free-for-all. Hebrews 13:4. Marriage should be honored by all, and the marriage bed kept pure. No side dishes allowed. Galatians 5, 19 to 21 lists sexual immorality as a kingdom deal breaker. Back to the Ten Commandments. Exodus 20:14, Deuteronomy 5:18, thou shalt not commit adultery. Paul's practical in 1 Corinthians 7, 1 to 2, burning with passion, marry, don't mess around. Ever wonder why God's so strict here? Stick with me. It's about design, not deprivation. It's like a car manual. Sweet ride, but follow the rules or you're toast. Now, I'll let you in on a little Lance lore. Back in my college days, I had a fraternity brother who swore the Bible was full of contradictions. Loved throwing stuff like this at me over cheap pizza. One night, he hit me with this. If God's so clear, why is there all this weird stuff? I didn't have an answer then, just a lot of pepperoni and pride. Took me years of digging to see the pattern. God's rules aren't the mess. Our lens is. That's why we're here, sorting the signal from the noise. But here's where the skeptics start rubbing their hands. They've got 16 verses, like Matthew 5, 27 to 28, saying sex outside of marriage is a no-no. Then point to Hosea 1, verse 2, 3, verse 1, and Numbers 31, 1 to 18 going, what's this then? All right, game on. Let's tackle these headliners. Skeptics love this trick. Find the weird, ignore the weight. It's like judging a book by the typos instead of the story. First, Hosea. Hosea 1, verse 2. God says, marry a prostitute. Hosea 3, verse 1. Love an adulteress. Sounds like a moral meltdown, right? Not so fast. Eric J. Tully from the Gospel Coalition unpacks it, and I'm going to paint it vivid. Put yourself in Hosea's shoes. God says, Marry Gomer. She's gonna break your heart. She does, runs to other lovers, leaves him in the dust. It's raw, messy, personal. Picture Hosea standing at the market, buying her back from some sleazy guy while the neighbors whisper. Why? It's Israel's story, cheating on God with idols, chasing self-reliance. Hosea doesn't ditch her, he redeems her, loves her through the wreckage. Imagine God as a director staging a play. Hosea's the actor, Gomer's the prop, and the script's about Israel's mess. It's not a rule tweak, it's a spotlight on grace. The book's only 9 verses of this drama, but the rest, sin, judgment, God's stubborn love pulling Israel home. No endorsement here. It's just a megaphone for truth. Let's toss in another Old Testament head-scratcher while we're at it. Lot's daughters in Genesis 19:30-38. After Sodom's obliterated, they get their dad drunk and sleep with him to keep the family line going. Gross, right? No divine command there. It's just desperation. Yet, God doesn't zap them. Their kids start tribes. Is that a loophole? Nope. Narrative, not norm. Same with Judah and Tamar in Genesis 38. She tricks him into bed to secure her rights. Messy, but God weaves it into the Messiah's line. These aren't go forth and do likewise moments. They're history showing God's grace in the muck, not rewriting the rules. Now, let's shift to Numbers 31, 1-18. This one's gritty. Moses, on God's orders, takes down the Midianites. Soldiers kill the men. Then Moses says, non-virgin women, out. Virgin girls, spare them for themselves. Yikes, that sounds sketchy, right? Context time, and this is from gotquestions.org with my take. Rewind. Midianites and Moab team up. King Balak hires Balaam to curse Israel. Fails. Plan B. Send women to seduce Israelite men into idolatry. It works. 24,000 die in a plague. God says enough. Vengeance. Post-battle, Moses refines the call. Guilty women who lured Israel? Gone. Virgins? Live. Why? Justice. They didn't sin. Mercy? War left them nothing. They'd die otherwise. They join Israelite homes, servants, maybe wives, but Mosaic law, and this is Deuteronomy 21, 10-14, says to treat them right, no abuse. Paul Copan nails it with this. Although rape was a common feature in ancient Near Eastern warfare, Israelite soldiers were prohibited from raping women. Okay, today we call it barbaric, but back then, war left no survivors unless absorbed, with rules. It's not a sex grab, it's survival with guardrails. And as I've mentioned previously, keep present-day biases, often called presentism, from distorting your grasp of history. It's frankly a form of mental laziness. So, do these examples torch the rule? Not even close. But hang on, because it's not just skeptics. Some Christians are slinging mud too. And Exhibit A is Jennifer Nust, pastor, Duke professor, and apparent Bible buffet connoisseur. In her Unprotected Texts book interview, she drops this gem, and I quote, "We can certainly turn to the Bible for guidance on moral issues, but we should not expect to find simple answers to the moral questions we are asking. Sometimes biblical conclusions are patently immoral. Sometimes they are deeply inspiring. In either case, we are left with the responsibility for determining what we will believe and affirm." End quote. Oh, bless your heart, Jennifer. When it's inspiring, you're clapping like a fangirl. But when it's tough, it's patently immoral? What, is Exodus 20:14 too mean because it says no to adultery? Should we just scribble anything goes in the margins and call it a day? This isn't guidance, Jennifer. It's a tantrum. She's hacking the text to match her mood, like a toddler tossing veggies she doesn't like. Love this recipe, but the rules, trash. Why even crack open the book if you're just going to Sharpie over the parts that don't vibe? Give me a break. Skeptics and Professor Nust types share a playbook. Cherry-pick the awkward, dodge the mountain of clear stuff. Ephesians 5:3, Colossians 3:5, no immorality. Acts 15:20, ditch fornication. 2 Corinthians 12:21, repent from it. Paul's cool with celibacy, 1 Corinthians 7:8-9, but marriage is the sex lane. These outliers, God's special ops, not a new rule book. Let's contrast that with today's vibe. Culture's all about sex as fast food. Swipe right, hook up, no strings. Tinder's a buffet, Hollywood's the chef. Bible says, nah, this is a gourmet meal. Sit down, commit, savor it. Ever see those reality shows on Bravo where folks bounce from bed to bed, then cry about trust? That's the weeds outside the garden. God's not anti-fun, He's pro-meaning. Oh, and here's a teaser. Someone at a previous Bible study class of ours asked, what about concubines? Solomon had hundreds. That's a fair question. The short answer, concubines were cultural, not commanded. God tolerated it, like divorce, Matthew 19:8, but never endorsed it. Marriage is the gold standard. Solomon's mess proves more wives and more problems. Bring your questions, folks. We'll hit them next time. So, is sex outside marriage wrong? Biblically, yeah, it's a sin. No debate. Exodus 20:14, Matthew 5:27-28, 1 Corinthians 6:18, Galatians 5:19-21, adultery, fornication, out. Hosea, Numbers, Lot. Those are divine one-offs, not loopholes. God's design is marriage, like a garden. Inside the fence, it's lush. Outside, it's chaos. He's not saying no to control us. He's saying yes to intimacy that lasts. Trust that doesn't break. A bond mirroring His love. Step outside, and it's not just rule breaking, it's missing the point. Let's sit with that for a second. Ever think about how we're wired for connection and not chaos? I've seen it. Friends chasing the quick thrill, only to crash hard when the buzz fades. God's not some cosmic killjoy up there, twirling his mustache, waiting to zap us. No, He's the architect who knows the blueprint. Marriage isn't a cage, it's the frame that holds the masterpiece. Hosea's heartbreak, Numbers' grit, they're not the plan, they're the mess He redeems. The real deal? One man, one woman, one covenant, because that's where the good stuff grows. So here's my challenge, folks. Don't just nod and move on. Wrestle with this. Ask yourself, am I buying the world's fast food lie or God's gourmet truth? Hit up that Facebook page and tell me, have you seen this play out? Seen the garden thrive or the weeds choke? I'm not here to preach at you. I'm here with you digging for the gold. Let's keep this real and keep it raw and keep it rooted in what lasts. That's a wrap, friends. We're a community. Hop over to our Bible Difficulties and Answers Facebook page and let's chew on this. All episodes are at BibleDifficultiesandAnswers.podbean.com. Binge them. Questions, chat, email me at BibleDifficultiesandAnswers@gmail.com. I'm game. Loving this? Like, subscribe, tell friends. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, wherever. It spreads the word. I'm Lance Smith. Until next time, good luck, good health, and God bless. So long, everybody.